Dan, just because I eat McDonald's doesn't mean I'm racist.
Was waiting for that line, some line.
Yeah. That's about right.
No, it's not. You're such a dick.
All right. So it looks like it's working. Okay.
I was working, yes.
Podcast.
Now I am not.
It is a new week. And we're back.
A new week and a new COVID. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
With us right now to start again is Dan, me, FJ, and Warren.
UFJ, me Warren, that Dan.
How you guys doing? How's your week been?
Pretty bad.
Bad? Why bad?
Why
You
bad?
know, nothing like a $500,000 mistake.
Oh,
yeah.
That's rough.
Let's go.
How's that aftermath? Is it still in the works?
Oh, we're figuring it out. I just feel really bad. When I make mistakes, I beat myself up and I feel really bad. I've been in a really negative mental state since all these mistakes keep coming up. And they all stem from last year.
From last year?
Yep.
Just this past year?
Yeah, so I was probably rushing through work in September, October, or making mistakes along the way, and now they're coming back to bite me in the butt. So I've been in a negative state mentally just because of all that. But we're coming around. I'm fixing up.
Is this something that you could have avoided?
Oh hell yeah!
Was
hell
it?
Yeah.
Is it something in hindsight you're just like, oh my god, I shouldn't have done that, but? Or is it something that you're like, okay, I could understand at least where how you made the mistake?
Careless mistakes, mostly.
Mm-hmm. Well, nobody's perfect.
So I've been told. It's just how long I've been there for, and it's I'm making these mistakes still. Really, Warren, get your shit together. That's my week though.
Well, it happens. You got your ups and downs.
Hell yeah. F, how you doing, man? How was your week? Busy?
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd say yeah. We're gonna get back into what you were talking about. Actually pertains to what we're gonna talk about today, our topic. If you'd like to obviously use that example, but no pressure, you don't have to. No, my week, man, I think I've had some mental struggles again, I gotta say, for the early part of this year, and it's still ongoing. Not mental struggles I don't necessarily think it's quite like the depression that I might have felt in the past, but it's been a struggle to kind of reevaluate what's motivating me, what direction am I going toward, and am I just on a plateau? Am I doing that to myself? Is it really COVID? Am I taking the responsibility though, because I should take this time to pursue more of my own things that I always had excuses to before? When I worked a lot more in the past years, I would say, oh, I wish I had more time for YouTube and put more content. Now I have as much time as I would like, so why am I not capitalizing? What is it? What's the barrier? Yeah, I think there are some decisions I've been making. I don't necessarily think they're hurting other people. I don't think so. But it's hindering, I think, my growth. I wonder if, and I try to make excuses for it. I'm rambling. It's
You know
hard
what?
to.
I feel that. Like you mentioned the whole, do I blame COVID? Like part of me is like, yes, COVID was a factor, and I'm like, was it really COVID's fault, or is it in me to fix up? Not when hits like, I can relate to that. I can get behind that.
I think anybody can. It's hard because a lot of the time, it's been like a year now almost. A lot of the time has been spent indoors, isolated, and humans aren't supposed to be isolated creatures, so that catches up. It's sure, you can get through it in the first couple months, and everyone's all excited and doing quarantine challenges, but it wears on you. So it's
Quarantine
yeah,
challenges.
yeah, those are so big in the first couple months, and then it's I can definitely feel that.
The Zoom calls were, that other thing, party, social, I keep forgetting.
House party.
House party.
Yeah.
Now it's like the novelty's gone. It's like, okay, we get it. All right, we can move on now. Let's move on. And it's just a roller coaster of like, all right, lockdown, and then okay, lockdown's been lifted. But you kind of, now in my head, I remember I wrote an email to a client. I was like, yeah, optimistic to see if this lift right now is going to make some sort of, change in like opportunity. And then I wrote at the end, not even thinking about it, it was like, hopefully it doesn't go, like, kind of anticipating that the numbers would go back up again because of the lift, So I don't know. I'm kind of in agreement that it's a little overblown, but there's always someone who's ruining it for everybody else. Why the lockdown is gonna come back, or hopefully it won't come back,
but I mean, with
everything
happening, with everything happening, would you call it a stroke of luck?
Bad luck. And on that note,
I'll be right back.
we'll be right back. No, I really do like the fact that I didn't realize it would tie into that. But I mean, before we go, let's look into the running, our weekly running results.
Oh yeah,
How we do.
Bring it up,
Danny, pull that up. I was so close to not contributing this week. I thought I was gonna go Tuesday. Didn't happen. I think snow. It was a snowstorm, right, or something.
Snow was rough.
And then Wednesday it was like sunny. It was hot. I was like, I can run during the day. And then I was like, I don't like running in the sun. It was like, so I didn't. This morning, I don't know. Something happened this morning.
I have another 4 to add on.
Hey, nice. Does that help? Look how much.
I think it'll get us over the 70% mark. I mean, I've been fortunate because I've been using a stationary bike, but
while working.
Oh no, not while. I can't do that while working. That would be an interesting concept. But yeah, so that's the only way I was able to catch up the last 3 days. I've been so lazy since last Thursday, and I was like, oh my gosh, Tuesday, I have to do things.
I'm finding the toughest part for me is the fact that we reviewed this on Thursday, and usually Friday I'll do a run, but then I've been giving myself Saturday and Sunday off just to let my arch heal, or
just
recover,
relax, and then you only have 4 days left.
Half
the week is gone.
So my 35K a week is kind of hard to maintain unless I do Saturday, Sunday.
True. Unless you're doing those doubles too. I don't know how you do that, man.
What's a double?
Just like 2 sessions of 5 or 2 sessions of 7-5.
Oh, interesting. I haven't tried that. I wouldn't. I don't think I would.
I have a big gap between some of those runs, right? I can do it at lunchtime, and then I can do it again at 9 p.m. Lucky.
Yeah, I could. I just don't want to.
Fair.
I was trying to hit 16 this week, but my route that I kind of makeshift made up when I started, I ran out. I could have done another lap around the little neighborhood part, but I was like, but I'm here. It's like I don't want to run it. I'm already at my house. Like, why would I keep running?
So what you're saying is you got lost again.
No, I fixed it. The route was great, but I now know what I can do to add to the same route. I gotta make some extra turns, and I'm ready for next week, I guess. Yeah. I'm tired.
Well, it sounds like we are not changing the goal. Do we bring it down?
Oh, bring it down? I mean, we didn't really talk to the group, huh? Oh wait, Kyle said he had 3?
Kyle did have 3. Okay. Maybe I should just force input Kyle's in. I don't think he's gonna put it. I got it. Doesn't matter what day. Kyle had 3.
I have actual Starbucks this time.
Yeah, Kyle.
Instead of bubble
He put
tea.
us over the 70%.
Yay!
I put us over this.
We're Asian.
Actual Starbucks
We're
as
Asian.
opposed to-
70% is not enough. It's like bubble tea, you know, like
As opposed to not actual Starbucks? I'm kidding. Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna
I
say,
see.
you don't have your 2 BBTs.
On my way home, I was like, I don't need sugar today. I don't need to get bubble tea. And then I'm like, oh, I have a BOGO coupon for Starbucks. Let's get that. Which is probably worse. Way more calories and way more sugar in this thing, but whatever.
Well, I think 80 is still a good goal. I know I'm going to be doing. I want to pick up more than 3 times a week, so
We can do it.
I'll put in more. So
We can do
I
it.
think 80 is a good mark.
It's just been a bad week for me, but we can do it.
We're keeping, you said? We're
I
not
think
lowering?
keeping the goal is. I think we can do it.
I think if we're under 60, then we drop it.
Yeah.
But I don't see us ever hitting less than 60%.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to always try to go up a little bit. At least a little
Yeah,
bit.
I've been slowly climbing every week, so I think I'm comfortable with this. I can do another session.
I'm reaching a point where, like, I need to bring water. Like, I feel like the dehydration after about 12 or something, 11, 12. And I was like, there was one point while on my run today, I was looking at the snow. I'm like, I was like, can I just
maybe not that one.
can I just scoop some of that up? Like, no, like the ones on the white stuff on the ground, like next to the sidewalk. I was like, it looks clean. I resisted. Don't worry, I did not do it, but I thought about it.
I know that if I'm running more than 10, I should probably bring a bottle of water just to be safe.
Yeah.
That is my kind of like milestone. After 10 clicks, then I definitely need to hydrate even just a little bit.
I think I need to invest in like a belt with the little pouch thingies, the little bottles. I think I gotta do that. Just
Should
bring
get
a
one of
bottle.
those, what are they called? Like the water packs?
Oh, the
A
backpack.
camelback?
Camelback.
Yeah. I don't know.
Want mine? I can send it to you.
Oh, you have one?
I only use it whenever I'm in like a mascot costume.
Nice.
Tyler says the cold and snow messed him up
It
this
is
week.
rough, yeah.
this week.
But I
Yeah.
think I'll make an attempt to hit some outdoor runs too.
One thing I haven't tried is the indoor 5K, just like literally in my room, just going back and forth. I want to do that. I rearranged my room so I have a bit more space to do it.
What's your distance per
Per
Wall.
lap.
or
I
half
don't know.
lap, I suppose?
It's literally like maybe
8
3
meters?
or 4 meters.
3 or 4 meters.
It's
Three
not
or
Wow.
like if I lie down, it's probably like 2 or 3 of me. So
Okay. So 4
Oh,
meters.
wow.
You just have to go back and forth like 1,000.
1,000 times.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Trying to keep track of that would be
Like,
so rough.
The change in
Yeah.
direction, man. It
It would be a lot more
it's
tiring.
it's like wind
Yeah.
sprints. Or
It's like
what's
you,
it called?
you have a little
Suicides.
counter on one of the
Suicides.
walls, and every time you get to it, you just put a little tick.
I was
Oh, but
thinking,
you,
no, I'll
you
just
can use the wall
I
though. You can just like push off the wall each time.
I would run to my door and then come back and push 1 on my keyboard and then just count that way.
Oh man.
Yeah.
In Excel, 1 enter, 1 enter, 1 enter.
Oh
That
man.
could be good.
All right. So that's
Okay.
not bad. That's not bad.
Hey, we're
Good
willing
job,
to
guys.
put
Oh,
the
sorry.
hard work in.
Sorry, Dan, put that back. I'm sorry. I should have made that bigger on the screen.
Oh, my bad. It's yep. 1 sec.
My bad.
Let me just.
There we go, guys. There you can see our run metrics for the week. Scroll down, please.
So we missed our goal, but it's.
Yeah,
we'll get
we
there.
totally failed. We totally failed.
70%.
No.
That's not bad.
No, the only Asian failed.
The only Asian failed? Oh, we
We
Asian
did
failed.
Asian fail.
Gotcha. Yeah, we did. We told like
We
bad.
needed another
bad.
9%.
Yeah. Yes, and that's just passing.
That's just to get the Asian.
That's just passing.
That's the difference between Asian fail and Chinese fail, right?
Oh man.
Kidding. Racist.
Oh, you went there.
I did. Well, their standards would be that much higher. Whenever it comes to numbers and math, you know they're gunning for 100.
Or more, because there's bonus marks.
I say that, but in calculus grade 12, the people that had perfect was 1 Chinese guy and 2 Filipino people. Anyways,
One of them.
In my school,
No,
it was only
I got
1
99
Filipino.
yes, that was you, Mr. Governor General here.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
That's a big name.
Emotional high. Or what
Hell
was that
yeah.
called? Dopamine?
Now, would you say that was a
Dopamine.
stroke of luck or hard work?
Oh.
I was going to touch on that because I think it stems from that too. We look back at our dopamine injection highs in the past, how much of luck did play in that. And my grade, like the school district that I was in, or like the competition level at that, because apparently Durham, or at least my school board, wasn't really deemed a very high academic school board compared to like York region or something. Or
Your school was the only high school in Durham, like Catholic, at least in Pickering, right? Not Durham. I shouldn't say Durham. Your school was the only Catholic high school in Pickering.
yes, and it could be Durham too.
No. No. Anyways,
not any that I knew of, but yeah.
that one sticks because I was pretty sure that was the only Catholic school in Pickering.
Yeah, for sure. That's why there was so many. There was like 31 portables. One year when like every Catholic had to go there, and there was a surge of like offspring for a good stretch of a few years. But now it's dead, man. Like they're tearing down schools. It's down to like maybe 3 portables or 4 portables, but that's COVID, so maybe it's different. But people aren't having kids anymore, or they're having kids a lot later now. So
yeah. Interesting. But I mean, going back to the whole Governor General, I mean, we can say luck was a factor. If you were to scale that, is it like 50-50? Would you call it more 90-10? Like, how would you even measure that? Like, that's something you can't even put a number or, objectify.
well, I guess it comes down to like the other contenders. Like you got to look at the immediate, I guess, competition who were in target to get it as well. Maybe make a comparison as to all their situations.
Oh. Governors General, not every high school had that. So Governor General Award, that was purely marks, right? Or was there other factors taken into account? Like, was it like, not only did he have the highest marks, not only did he put in the most community service hours, not only did he come first in this many competitions?
No,
was it just purely marks?
Just grades, yeah.
Okay.
And it's the top. So in the last 2 years, you get to like segment off and like choose,
University
various
level,
subjects.
college level? Yeah.
So my subjects may not have, someone who went the arts route might have had more like drama or music or something like that. which is very much more subjective versus the right and wrong of math and science. So, you know, some people could look at one harder than the other, or vice versa. So, who knows, difficulty-wise.
But I mean, at the time when you're going through the whole highs of getting your award, like, yeah, this is hard work paying off.
I don't know. Like I said, high school didn't seem nearly as difficult as university. I didn't feel prepared for university from my high school.
Fair enough.
I wonder if it invalidates my governor general.
No, I mean, in the
I'm
situation,
sure still previous hard work. It just
yeah.
carried over.
I mean,
And like, I was gonna say, everyone's dealt a different hand, so you kind of have to just play your cards right in the situation you're in, and you just played it so that you ended up with the highest marks.
okay, so with that, guys, this week our topic is luck versus hard work. There was a video that I saw. I'll pull it up here real quick. By Veritasium. It was a really interesting watch. I do highly recommend you check it out. It's called "Is Success Luck or Hard Work?" We're not gonna react to it right now or anything like that, but that's what kind of got my mind working in terms of how we do reevaluating a lot of the moments in our lives where we might have completely attributed it to how much effort and hard work we put into something. But did luck really play a role? An immediate example that I can pull up from that video was NHL hockey players. He was one of his examples where they found that a lot of contenders that went on to get into the NHL had earlier birthdays in the year because they would end up having to compete with other kids in that grade or age year, but they had an extra how many more months of growth and like training when the time they were I guess recruited later in the year when winter comes. So children that were born later in the year had a less growth spurt or a less bit of time that extra little bit amount of time that could have made a difference in their training or their skills. So, and it makes sense. You could probably put it into even like maybe, yeah, this is more so maybe development as a young athlete. Later on in life, if you are, you know, you get that growth spurt later on in life, you know, basketball, volleyball, or something could be a thing. But this is specifically like an athlete where you start at a young age, you know, and then it is very much restricted to your grade, your like academic grades, that grade, and not like your mark, but you know what I mean, grade school, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5.
Yeah.
I guess I can start with I was thinking in what we can do in terms of this podcast is come up with examples in our own lives where we can definitely reevaluate it and see how much of that can we say was hard work. Again, ratio, how much did luck have to play with it? So I'll start first with immigration to Canada, because I often see, especially with social media, Facebook, you know, you see your other family may not have had the same opportunities that I had. Ours is the only family that ended up in Canada, and I can see like the difference, you know, in like living situations and wealth and access to technology and this sort of thing. And you know, yes, attribute that to the hard work of my parents who brought our family here and really, you know, gave me the opportunity and the opportunity to pursue it in this living situation in Canada, in North America, first world access to education. So like I feel lucky and blessed to have been able to achieve and gain what I've gained. But you know, as much as hard work as I have gotten to this point in my life where I can, you know, attribute running my own business and having all access to like internet and podcasts and all of you guys, all my friends and all that, you know, is I was lucky to that I was able to grow up here.
So with that, like, so you're saying, well, there's a few things I can look at and kind of be like, how much does that example help the conversation? Not to say help the conversation, because you think about you moving to Canada, that is a product of your parents' hard work. And it's more, that's an instance of just more or less pure luck for you, right? From your perspective, I'm lucky to have been raised here in Canada. But then, as an effect of that luck, I've been able to work hard, make use of that opportunity, and build upon that luck to further yourself and improve yourself.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So like compounded on the
So,
decisions
like,
my parents were made. But then their luck too, like being able to, with how many people maybe have tried to immigrate or finding a job that would allow them to immigrate.
right. So for your situation now, where you are right now, 2021, is this a 50-50 of like, okay, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the luck of my parents working hard to get me to Canada, and then the other half is my own efforts to put me in this position here. Obviously, meeting other people is out of your, not to say out of your control, but like, you know, if there are certain people in your lives right now, that would be some stroke of luck. Would that be stroke of luck? Because you've obviously made an effort to make connections with people. This is why this topic is difficult, because there's so much that's not objective. It's hard to really put.
Yes,
firm
it's completely
pressure.
subjective. It's all
Yeah.
based on your perspective or your own perception of how you got somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Most
Because
success
I think,
we would.
I think in
yeah.
that example, I would attribute you saying your luck is more of your gratitude towards what your parents did. That's kind of how I would look at it. So like their hard work might have been viewed as luck from, you know, either their family members of them actually doing the work to immigrate and come to Canada.
Yeah.
To give you that, which allowed you to feel blessed and more of a gratitude type thing. Because yeah, my parents did the same thing. I was born here, but they moved here from the Philippines, and they went through the struggles, and yeah, I definitely feel very fortunate that they did that.
And
But
it's
when I'm
like
trying to think of an example, yeah, it's I think it would be different. Sorry, go ahead.
I guess the biggest not argument, but like we've all made something of ourselves. We've reached a certain level of success where we are proud of what we've accomplished. And I guess a very easy critique to make or judgment to make from someone who didn't grow up in North America is, you're lucky you grew up in North America. You're lucky that you had access to what you had access to. And in a way, yes. But it wasn't, as we have just concluded, it wasn't our luck that brought us here. It was compounded on the hard work and decisions that our parents made to bring us here, to give us these opportunities, right? I guess that specific example, it's difficult because it is out of our realm of full control. It wasn't purely our decisions. So we can move on to examples, I guess. That
I was gonna say, like, barring what your parents have done for us or what your parents have done for you, I mean, even that, like, it's such a general sense of like where I am right now in my whole life of 30-something years. How much of it was hard work and how much of it was luck? Like, on a case-by-case basis, here's one. Me getting to university, or like getting to Waterloo specifically, literally flip of a coin. I did the work in high school, but the reason I ended up in Waterloo, I literally flipped the coin and it landed heads for Waterloo.
okay, that's 50%. 50-50.
I mean, obviously, I had to do the work in high school to have.
You
the
had to
grades
flip
be
that
accepted.
coin. You had to have been able to flip that coin. Oh yeah,
Like,
and the
people
marks.
think I'm joking when I say
You needed,
that. I literally flipped the coin.
but your marks needed to be where they needed to be to get into Waterloo, right? There's that aspect of that too. The decision to go to Waterloo is
Yeah.
Complete
wow.
luck.
So in my head, when you brought up this topic, I'm like, yo, this is case closed, easy
So
clap.
easy.
Because we put the hard work in to put ourselves in the position where we can be successful, and sometimes, not as often as we'd hope, there is a stroke of luck that just helps us push us to that success. But otherwise, whatever kind of hand of cards we're dealt, we kind of have to play what we have.
Mm-hmm.
By playing cards, I mean like that's when you have to like do the work. If you know, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the whole work deal. Like, you know, going to school, like I was a huge minority, like over here in Hamilton, so I had already the stereotype, you know, he's Asian, he has to be good at math type thing. But when I look back in hindsight, like my mom, when I was young, she would buy like math workbooks that, you know, weren't like mandatory, and like I did those as activities, and I realized I did a lot of things outside of school to help, you know, mold my mind into something that just happened to enjoy math. So it's things like that, you know, when I go to school now, or when I went to school, yeah, everything was easy. I still did the homework, but it came easy because all that previous prep work was already done. So yeah, sure,
how
I
much-
might seem like it was lucky later, but yeah.
How much of that though is, you know, genes, like left brain, right brain, analytical versus, you know, whatever that was.
Could be. Absolutely, it could be personality, could be like, yeah, definitely an analytical mind. But I mean, I don't know. My parents were both in healthcare, and you know, their personalities are kind of opposite. But yeah, genes definitely play a factor. But I mean, I wouldn't say I was good at math. I mean, being good at math was only influenced and skill gained because of the things that.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, oh, I only graduated from combinatorics and optimization.
Gangsta
But
boy.
yeah, like all the background stuff. Like even when I was in high school, like I didn't need to take, you know, all of the math and physics courses, but I did, and I just wasn't just good at them. Like I did the work. Sure, I might have thought it was easier than some people thought it was, but I mean, it didn't stop me from doing all of the work that I had to do. You know, going out and doing the readings, and you know, I was the guy that did all the homework all the time, and you know, if there was extra problems, sure, I would do them if I had the time. So, yeah.
Gangsta boy forever killer in the chat says, which is Mike, aside from luck being defined as chance, my definition of luck is when opportunity meets preparation, which sort of mixes how hard work is important. Hello, Kyle. Welcome.
What's up, Kyle?
Hello.
Oh, hey.
What's
Oh,
up?
hello. Let's raise that
And I
volume.
think that's what perfectly shows on this lovely image behind me.
What people see and mistake for luck. Increase in
So,
effort,
like,
gradual progress
Still
over time.
gradual increase, but if this
What
person's
people
hitting the
see
same results,
Mistake for success.
see, they both get to the same result, but not to say that there aren't lucky people out there, but I think the harder you work, the luckier you can potentially
Can be.
The more chances you expose to yourself for good things to happen.
Absolutely.
You give yourself more opportunities for good luck to happen, I guess.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Case
Kyle-
closed. Got him.
And we're done. It's a wrap.
All right, so have a good night.
Thanks for your input, Kyle. Well done. You solved the case
You
by just
solved
showing
the
up.
case.
And sis merited this.
We were trying to go over some examples, or initial examples, where we could deem a certain level of achievement from hard work and trying to see, you know, if we can adjust our perspective to see how much luck could have actually played in that piece of success. You can have some time if you want to think about some examples for yourself. I talked about how, you know, being able to grow up in Canada, it was outside of my control to be here. Obviously, it's based on the hard work and decisions of my parents, but having those opportunities now, growing up in Canada, opened me up to a lot more opportunities, I think, to reach where I've reached now. I don't know if I've had the same, I guess, kind of upbringing in the Philippines. Just where would I be had I grown up in the Philippines?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess if you want to look at it the other way too, like what if an event in your life where you maybe didn't hit a goal, or someone, like if it was a competition of some sort and you know you got beaten out of it, did you feel that it was unlucky, or in hindsight did you feel that you could have put in more work?
Yeah.
Deep.
No, exactly. I wanted to go the
Yeah.
other way too. Where I felt something was unlucky.
Like even now, thinking about this whole COVID situation, like nobody could control it. Everything
Yeah.
that I feel like I'm going through right now, the only things in control that I'm in control of is literally what I'm doing with my time and how I'm spending it. So a lot of my downfalls, a lot of these like negative like emotions that I'm kind of going through is literally just reflections of what I've been doing or in the work I haven't been doing. Obviously that stroke of bad luck or that stroke of like, oh crap, COVID's a thing. It does put us like, it does put me back, and it kind of like it adds another challenge. But the rest of it is up to me.
I definitely feel that, especially like since the summer, like if it was fitness, for example, like I totally like fell off the grid so hard. But in hindsight, it was just I didn't put any work in for like 6 months. You know, if it's a working thing, yeah, sure, COVID sucks, but you know, I'm sure there were more things I could have worked harder on, you know, finding work earlier, but that's a hindsight thing. I wouldn't say I was lucky, but I think in a lot of the things where I find myself disappointed in you know my results, it's you know it's easy at the time to blame things on external factors, but you know I know there's always cases for me that like you know what I could have done more things. You know, I could have been better. I could have made better decisions to give me earlier opportunities to hit what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Like good examples of talking about hard work versus luck would be like athletes. Like there are so many Cinderella stories of people that weren't gifted with the talent that some other players are, but they still work their butts off to get to where they are right now. Then you have the opposite where some people are, you know, given that talent and given that ability to play like whatever sport they're in, but then they put the extra work in. You know what I mean? Like you think of like a Kobe, LeBron.
Yeah,
Gifted,
they
talented in what
reached
they do.
they reached superstardom. It wasn't just because of talent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination. Yeah.
And then you look at like guys in like a Van Vliet who's been in the league for how long? A guy like Jeremy Lin, who's been in the league and been playing ball for how long? He's bounced around for so much, right? Like he's in China, and now he's back in the G League right now?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
D League.
Is it D League, G League? I don't even know. But I mean,
So-
those are good examples of talking about now how much of it is luck, how much of it is hard work. You would assume that, you know, if you're an athlete, if that's what you do for a living, you're putting in the work.
Yeah, like a reading. There's a book called Relentless by Tim Grover. He's the trainer for Michael Jordan and like Kobe and D Wade, and him talking about working with Jordan and you know his regimes and instilling the mindset and putting in the work that he had to put in. Like you watch some of the things that Jordan does, and yeah, he was like amazing. And you look at like some of his famous highlights, and you're like, I can't believe like some of those look like pure luck. Like it's crazy, like the circus shots that he hits, but it's just his sense and natural ability combined with all that hard work that he put in gave him all that opportunity, and that's actually a great read.
What's the author again?
Tim Grover.
Right, Coach.
If you watch the Last Dance, he actually he's on there for a couple episodes. It's neat.
Recognize.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's been a while since I watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
But I mean, it doesn't discount people that aren't given that talent or given that luck of having or being blessed with the opportunities. Like even obviously, if you're not blessed or given the opportunity, whatever situation you're in, there's going to be that much more hard work to try to put you in a spot to succeed in whatever you want to succeed in. That example of you moved to Canada from the Philippines, what would you be like if you were still in the Philippines? I mean, to get yourself to an opportunity to be successful in whatever you wanted to do, I'd imagine it'd be a lot more difficult because you have to put that much more work in to give yourself that opportunity. That doesn't discount hard work for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My goal to want to be able to dunk one day, I don't discount that. Like I think with enough hard work and determination and discipline, which I don't have, definitely possible. I've seen videos of guys that are 5'4", 5'6", like it's not unreal.
I should be able to dunk. I gave
I mean,
it's possible, but damn, that is hard.
What sucks is knowing how close you are to your goal and knowing how much more that you need that little bit of push. I've lost my drive, but like knowing I could touch a rim and all I need to get, well, not all I need, but like to have to get this much more vertical, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
high school I touched the rim too. I got a couple inches on you, but yeah, I never got close to dunking. And I only touched the rim, like I grabbed the rim once. But
that's pretty cool still.
I never really
Good feeling.
it felt so good, but I as soon as I did it, I basically gave up. I was like, I did it. I hung on the rim. Yeah.
Quit while you're ahead.
But so my input, well, I guess it would be more of like a story. I learned how to not work hard by coming to Canada. So in Trinidad, I grew up there. I moved when I was 11. I worked really hard in school. I was one of the higher achievers in my school. And then when I found out we had to move, so in Trinidad it's hard because you have to take these exams in grade 6 to find out what high school, because high school is from grade 7 to 13. And you have to like apply. So, you have your first choice high school, second choice down to 5. And the first couple of choices are obviously like the best schools in the nation. It's a 3-hour exam or 4 hours, something like that. And so I studied so hard. I passed with my first choice, but by the time I got my results, I knew I was moving. So I was like, okay, I did all this work for nothing. So I worked my ass off, got my first choice, moved to Canada, and then I quickly discovered that, the stuff that they're learning in grade 7, when I moved, I went to grade 7. I had learned in like grade 4 or 5 or something. And then I found out like they don't mark homework. So I was like, oh, I don't have to do homework. Great. Cuz I'm not wasting my time doing this stuff that I learned years ago. And that so I basically did that until university. I didn't do any homework in high school. Grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like OAC, because there were no homework checks. So I sort of like instilled this laziness into myself, saying like, I'll put in minimal effort in high school, at least. This is high school, and get really good results. Like I still
Well,
got 90s.
But you were ahead, right? You already knew the material. Homework is really just so people have extra practice so they retain, but you already knew it.
But
Right.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when the curriculum caught up, because
Yeah.
you know I didn't know any OAC stuff, but when the
Okay.
curriculum caught up in about grade 10, I went up to my teacher after class, and I remember we learned some graphing thing that I never did. It was easy still. It was like learning the slope or some garbage. And I went up to her after class, and I was like, I just learned something new. And my teacher was like, good job, congrats. And I was like, you don't understand, I haven't learned anything since I moved here in 3.5 years ago. And she was like, wow, okay, Kyle, okay. I guess she was offended. I think she probably got offended. And I was like, whatever, I'm happy I learned something.
And did you already at this point feel you weren't going to do any work?
Well, as long as the material was easy enough for me to understand, I didn't do homework. So I just didn't. It was still easy. Didn't do homework. It was more of like a test. Let me see. Let me not do homework and see if I can still get like perfect and stuff. And then I did. So I was just like, all right. Clearly, homework doesn't mean anything.
So when you said you busted your ass in Trinidad for those exams, what did that entail? Like just a lot of homework? Like a lot of homework or a lot of extras?
Yeah,
Practice
basically, if you
stuff?
picture a book that had a bunch of questions in it, I did all the questions. Sometimes I did questions more than once. Like, if I got any marks taken off, my dad would ask me, like, where'd I lose those marks, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I was really intrinsically motivated, though, because I wanted to be in the top of my class. I wanted to see that one next to my name. And then in Canada, they don't have that anyway. Like, there's no rankings.
Yeah.
And I was getting letter grades. I was like, what? What is this? I was like,
Letter
what is this?
grades. Yeah.
So I quickly, in terms of motivation and hard work, I went way down. So far down that I didn't have any of that instilled when I hit university. And that was a huge wake-up call because, I mean, I almost
Yep.
failed.
Yeah.
So my turnaround to working hard again and achieving things based off of my hard work felt good. But the journey was crazy. Yeah, like the relationship with the flip side with luck, I don't know yet, but like when I picture hard work, I picture that. I picture like, wow, no wonder I'm so good at not working hard. It was like, it was so long that I didn't have to work hard. So, but at the same time, if I enjoy the job, I have no problem working extra, like putting in the hours, and because to me it's just like, well, that was me changing how I think and like viewing everything as a learning experience and having fun with it. For instance, the job I took with Warren, like working for Warren, that was so fun, and I worked my ass off. Like that was a lot of hours,
Oh yeah.
but it was fun hours, especially the hours that were in the lab with Mike and
Hell
Warren.
yeah.
Like that was fun. Going on site at all, like anything with Warren really is fun, right? So even the offsite adventures were fun too, like living in a hotel for a month. All that was awesome.
We did that?
No, that was just me. You sent me to what was it, Fox Creeker? I can't.
Oh yeah, Fox Creek and Hardesty and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting, right? I'm by myself. I'm working with a bunch of like roughneck. I had to earn their respect, but I did.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
just a kind of a a review question on your moving here then, you know, because a lot of us had this theme of feeling that we're lucky we had these opportunities growing up in Canada. Do you think it would have been a better had you stayed in Trinidad longer and seen the results of all that hard work first to get to the top ranked high schools and stuff, and then maybe when you got to high school, came here, you could have been, you know, is that a luck thing? Did you feel lucky to be here or to move here too? Like, did it taint?
Crime wise, I am lucky to be here.
Right, yeah.
But if I stayed down and did my high school in Trinidad, I mean, they learn university stuff in like grade 11.
Yeah.
Right? So I would have been really prepared for at least the first couple years of UW in terms of math and science.
Yeah, I found other provinces learn stuff quicker than Ontario.
Yeah, Ontario's garbage, but I mean,
And Canada's garbage.
Canada's garbage. Yeah.
Agreed. The British system, that was what put me ahead of my high school. Like doing grade 9 and 10 in a British like IB program, I came back. I'm like, what am I? Should I even like? What's this homework? Like, do I need to do anything? Like, this is all cake.
Yeah.
See, maybe it's better than that you came earlier, because like I knew people in high school that like immigrated in like grades 11 and 12, but because they kind of knew the things already, they would just go to class, not pay attention, sleep, but then their marks would be bad. You know what? Because like they didn't care. They're like, I'm not learning anything, so what's the point?
Well,
but then like those are the years that matters. I don't know.
Because if they knew it already, they wouldn't have got bad marks.
Yeah.
So they must have forgot, and then
they didn't show up for the
maybe
exam.
They just didn't care. And
they thought they knew it, and then
stupid. Like, you know, why do I have to relearn this stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, my brother was in that position. My sister, like, they were in those grades when we moved, and they killed.
I can definitely see that happening to somebody that has to move from, you know, their home country in grade 11 or 12 in like their last years of high school, because you're in that rebellious phase. It's like, no, all my friends are back home. Why am I here? Like, I can see that happening, and that's totally plausible. It's just like, no, this is stupid. One, I learned this already. Two, I'm in a high school I don't want to be in right now.
I will say, on the end of luck, I have sat there and been like, why the fuck am I so unlucky? I have thought this. But it's just tough because this topic is like achievements that can be seen as luck or hard work. I'm just talking about like luck by itself and not really hard work.
Completely pertains too, though.
You know, like most recently, I get laid off. I feel like it's almost lucky that I got laid off because I wasn't liking the job. And so if I get laid off, then I get a package. That's pretty sweet. So I get a little bumper of money. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna, you know, well, we planned to go on this trip. I went crazy in the gym, felt amazing, went on the trip, all with the plan of, all right, I'm gonna come back and then move out and then start working on something. Like whether that be trying to find a job in this or that or start my own thing. I don't know. But then, you know, right, we come back and then COVID hits. And I was like, man, that was like right when I was supposed to had this plan to come back and then we'd do this. And then that happens. I was like, okay, well, that sucks. I thought about it a lot, like luck. I say, well, I'm lucky, but I'm not lucky. Just the things that happened. I'm lucky that I was able to even get that job for 3 years in the first place. So I'm sitting on this extra money. So now I can afford to be lazy. So I'm like, you know,
So-
my thoughts
same
go around in
story
this
again.
circle a
Yeah,
lot.
from like coming, yeah, not needing to push yourself.
Yeah, but like physically going to the gym was such a nice thing, and then that was taken from me with COVID because I don't have that equipment. The most I can do is like, I don't know, all the calisthenic stuff, but it's just different. So like mentally, I find it hard to be motivated.
Mhm.
But another one that I thought that I was like just thinking about luck would probably be the same move to Canada, and my sister dying like the next year, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I remember it being kind of bad for my dad because oftentimes being a 12-year-old kid who's just sad and angry, I would always think, why did we move? Why did we come here? And I would like tell my dad, Dad, why? Why did we come here? You know, sister died. If we didn't, she'd still be here. We'd be happy. Did anything happen down in Trinidad? No. Right? Like there's no war. There's no like military coup which had happened previously and which was why we moved in the first place. But yeah, I was just angry because like I moved away from all my friends into this cold country. You know, back then I hated cold. Now I hate cold, but not as much. But it was, you know, I thought about like luck, you know,
Mm.
like
Like, do you really?
I'm a fucking unlucky guy. Like
Did
I
you-
used to think this a lot.
Did you continue to associate the move to those occurrences?
What do you mean? Like, if we didn't move, then
Then none of this would have happened. Like, obviously,
well, yeah,
I mean,
I
that
have-
was
I have
youth,
to think like
right?
that.
No,
Like-
you have to think that way.
Yeah, I have to. Like,
Why?
like I can't be like, well, okay, if we didn't move, then she would have got hit by a car. You know, like, I don't.
I
think,
mean, the other side to that is like,
I don't think she would have died the same way. I don't believe like the fate thing, the butterfly effect. Like you could change this, but then it doesn't really change the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember how that happened or what was the cause of how that happened, but was it not possible that that could have happened there too?
No one knows what strep is down there.
Okay.
So my guess is no. My guess is like this thing that she got has never happened down there. But still, like I can't.
Okay.
It's like a 1 in something million chance of getting strep, that strain of strep mutation.
Right.
And when you're talking about chances, you're talking about luck.
Mhm.
And so, you know, I remember having this weird mentality because my sister was a very, like, at least to me, very perfect. So growing up, I would think, okay, I can't be that perfect. I have to, like, be bad sometimes. Dude, like it sounds very strange, but this is really what went through my head as a kid growing up, and was a reason for some of the choices I've made when I was young. Could be directly linked to that. I'm like, I can't be some perfect kid doing everything good. That's bad. That's dangerous. Because perfect people die. That's what I used to think.
just thinking back to the whole asking your dad why you moved, you also have to, or I would imagine there's a part of you that had to realize he did this for the safety of his, or like for you, right? Like he didn't just do it out on a whim. Like it's there is reasoning for big moves like that. Like
Yeah, like I knew I was
Yeah.
just angry.
yeah.
Mhm.
I knew back then. I knew everything. It was just like he was there to lash out. He was there to attack, not anybody else really.
No, I can imagine it being that difficult um if you're faced with unlucky scenarios or unfortunate events. It's very I like, you know how like people say it's easy to find the negatives in something, it's hard to see the positives in it. Like once you hit a stroke of bad luck, it's very, I think people will succumb to seeing any kind of, or they'll be a lot more susceptible to seeing more instances of bad luck and really like diving into that. And I feel like that's kind of, would, do you feel like you've done that, or kind of like just build on that bad luck and compound onto it? Because you think about like how Dan and FJ mentioned instances of success and how, or instances of luck, and that they've compounded on top of it to certain events in their lives that would be seen as a success to them. For yourself, would you think that, or do you feel like you've kind of had one instance of bad luck and then things more or less compound on top of that in the wrong way, or like a negative direction?
Yeah, was it some sort of spiral because of that stemmed from that stroke of bad luck?
Yeah, I mean, I think many things in my life spiraled from that event. To today, I think personally, like how I used to be viewed, which I guess I am, but I think it's because nothing matters to me. Like if no one's life is at risk, then I can't be bothered by anything negative, really. Like I became numb to a lot of things. So when people say, or I say, like I just fly at the seat of my pants, I'm just kind of going with the wind. It's on one hand freeing, I guess, like I'm free, but on the other hand, I also don't care. I don't care about much. A realization that I've come to the last couple years, maybe. Problems in the past, I think back to like, issues with relationships. It was always like, someone saying that I don't care. It's so negative. It's like, yeah, sure, I don't care about this issue, but that doesn't mean I don't care about you, right? When it comes to like relationships, let's say, like that doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I don't care about this thing, this problem, because really and truly, it didn't care. When
You didn't see its significance. It's not that.
yeah,
maybe-
like
yeah.
like
It had nothing to do about caring. Actually, it's just you
Yeah,
didn't
like
see the significance in that thing.
I didn't see, or I don't see, I should say, this hasn't been fixed.
Yeah, right.
Like things that, if you're not sick and there's something wrong, like where you need my attention like that, man, if you're good, if you're healthy, and then it can be anything, any kind of argument, as long as like nothing's being threatened, really, I don't care. Right? Like, could be anything. So thinking back, I think that childhood trauma was a root of this, and I just see it if I look back of a lot of things that have happened. I don't care. And it comes down to that a lot.
Mm.
Do I drown myself in alcohol because of this? Sure, I don't care.
So, I mean, you've obviously looked back and evaluated it and see that behavior has been reoccurring for you, you know, quote unquote, not caring. So, did you evaluate a wrong way of living versus a right way of living? Was there a standard that you had pictured where you felt you didn't have to reach that standard anymore? Like, what's the reason for living when you don't care? It's like if they're
Well,
like
that's the
if
question,
if well, I'm actually asking, yeah, like, you know, you said if someone close to your family or someone you love is healthy and they're good, you know, they're safe, then what's there to worry about? But then, you know, your own personal safety, sure, unlucky for certain events, but if you carried on the same behavior, but you didn't have, let's say, a home, or you didn't have, I don't know, your family, or I don't know, different circumstance, maybe, you know, the same kind of behavior or attitude may not prolong as may not have reached this long in a different circumstance, if you didn't have maybe a stronger foundation or something, or like maybe your parents, or, you know what I mean, group of friends.
Doug, so in all honesty, I feel like I'm treading in waters that I'm like, I don't have any expertise to give any kind of like, not necessarily like advice, or like, obviously things that you've gone through that you've mentioned is kind of like, yeah, super unfortunate. I can't say I know exactly what you've been through or what you're feeling, but like, it's almost like I need to be careful with what I say. One thing I would say though is, even in moments of bad luck, even in times of like negative and unfortunate events, that doesn't discount hard work, or that doesn't discount your own efforts to still put yourself in a situation of success, right? Like, we were just talking about how, you know, the reason what was Mike's quote? When hard work meets opportunity, right?
Luck is when
If you
opportunity meets preparation.
Okay, so even in that situation, to prepare yourself for an opportunity, or prepare yourself for some good luck, there's obviously, or I feel like, not to say obviously, like, there would still have to be a level of effort to put yourself in a situation of success. Like, the dumbest example I can think of is like any kind of game of cards, any kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh or Hearthstone, that kind of thing. Like, the only way you win is if you play your cards right. Obviously, some people are dealt better hands, some people are dealt worse hands. If you're dealt the worst hand, you kind of have to make the safest play to put yourself in a situation to not, you know, obviously you want to win. Life isn't just a game, but, you know, I mean, if you want to reach any kind of goal or success you have in mind, I'd imagine that, you know, this is what I have right now. I'm going to make use of it. One small example I'll take is the whole gym closed. Yes, that sucks, but that doesn't stop you from still doing your calisthenics, still doing your body weight work. Oh my god, even worse example, One Punch Man, just 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 10K runs. Obviously it's winter, so 10K runs don't quite work. But that doesn't stop somebody, or it shouldn't stop you from wanting to put some sort of effort into something that you might find, you know, your passion for. If you wanted to succeed in a certain aspect of life, then you can put time into it. Another example is FJ throwing in this time into YouTube and Twitch streaming, because I know if that was something you've always wanted to do and never had the time for, now you have the time for it.
Yeah, the struggle I have is just mental, like that.
God. Oh.
It's like motivation. What happened? What's going on?
I heard myself talking for too long and I hated it. Oh god. I can hear my own voice outside of my headphones. I'm just like, no, Warren. Anyways, that's just me. Oh god.
I just wanted to say, in terms of anyone saying I'm lucky or I'm unlucky, I'm just generally unlucky. When just, you know, this podcast is when it came into my mind. Like, when anyone says that, or I'm just unlucky, you then take possession of the notion of luck. You're taking possession of it, which removes its statistic, randomness or whatever probability. If you're deeming yourself unlucky, that means it's a consistent thing that's happening to you. That removes probability now, because then you always would expect bad things to happen. If you take ownership of something that's completely random, like luck is so easy when you have, like you say, stroke of bad luck, stroke of good luck, or a bunch of events in your life that compound. Like, the common superstition is things happen in threes. Either bad things or good things happen in threes, right? I don't know if you guys have heard it, but in that sense, you're shifting, and it's all based on your own personal perception on something that's completely random. Luck is supposed to be random, even if it is likelihood of like winning the lottery, 1 over a however billion trillion, or that particular health condition. It's supposed to be random, and if it happens, you can't relate it to possessing this trait, or somehow this curse upon you that bad things will happen to you, because that removes the randomness to it. I know it's coming down to faith now and values, right? It's just your perception on bad things happening in your life versus good things happening in your life. It's bringing in faith. It's bringing in faith. In terms of the person that you were talking about in that relationship, where you didn't care about that particular issue, but it doesn't mean I don't care about you, right? So I think that when I looked at it's very briefly, only while hearing it again today, was like your values didn't align. The thing that person particularly valued, you didn't, and you cared about the person because that person was of significance to you. That person was your partner, and by kind of, general standard ruling, when you're supposed to care about your partner. But the problem is the values of that partner didn't align with yours. So it's not that you're a bad person. It's not, but they valued something that you didn't. So they didn't see you maybe as what they needed. Maybe they needed someone whose values aligned with theirs. Maybe you need someone whose values align with yours. I've come to, I think over time, I realized that too. And I saw another video about it today. It was like a parody about like wanting to change for someone. And I look back at a lot of my relationships where it's like I tried to like go above and beyond to make changes in my life or in my choices so that I could adjust and adapt to the other person, what they needed, or what would best kind of suit them. And I don't want to do that anymore. I would love to find not someone who would do that for me, but just, I guess, someone who's in the same kind of path as me. So it would just work because they align, right? Our values would align. And it's proving to be a hard, thing to come across, but I'm not giving up on it or whatever. I still think it's possible. There's just too many people in the world for it not to be possible. But anyway.
Yeah, I think the hard part is always just because then when you're talking about trying to build up to hard work, I think people have a notion of like if you want any type of improvement, like you have to go like 300% from zero, and you don't. It's small steps, especially if it's something that maybe you have had a mindset for X amount of time, and it's not easy to just flip a switch and go cold turkey and just flip everything. Like I remember when I was in Winnipeg, like I know we talked about this with you guys, but like right before I went, it was probably at like one of the lowest of the lows that I've ever been in. And while I was there, sure, I knew people, and I was around people, but like I didn't talk to you guys. Like I barely talked to you guys at all, and I just felt like alone. And whether I was actually alone or you know, in like a large group of people, that feeling of like isolation was just always there. You know, and yeah, like I felt unlucky. Like I felt like, why are these things happening to me? And um, you know, like why are all these things terrible? And like I'll never know like how each of you have felt in your lives at your lows. But I mean, um, for me, like it got really bad. But I just wanted to really look for anything positive, whether it was big or small. And I just had to start from there because I knew, like, I think even like a couple years even before I went to Winnipeg, and I felt, for me, like I was just on a downhill with everything, you know, whether it was, you know, like my own personal fitness and, you know, my relationships and just everything. I felt like it was a downhill. But doing the small things, like every day, like I would start looking at, okay, what are some of the things that, you know, I am lucky to have. Like I would send like a message to my sister, and, you know, she'd respond, and I you know, I felt good that I had that. You know, the I think I didn't even reach out to Warren until I think it was August. But that talk, what, you know, I don't think I ever told you this, War, but like that talk when we just caught up for maybe like half hour. It wasn't even that long, and I gave you a call, and it was just like a small little spark that I was like, you know what, like, you know, I haven't talked to these guys in, you know, months, and we can have that conversation, and that actually made me appreciate of, you know, the friends that I did have. And when I started to come back, and then like I made it a point to see you guys, like, so it was just small things that I had to try and interject positivity to change my mindset to feel, you know, more or less good to be able to put in some work to do something. Like I don't think it was until August where I started to look for volleyball leagues that I joined out there, and, you know, I started to do workouts while I was out there. And even though I still felt that isolation, I was still starting to put work towards things that I wanted to do to better myself, or to change my thought process or my attitude or just myself. But
Hey, which August was this? Was this 2019?
no, this was 2018. I was in
2018 when you were in Winnipeg? Were you already single then?
I was. Yeah,
So
yeah.
was I talking to you and I didn't know you were single at the time?
Yeah, that's when I told you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was our catch-up talk.
Catch up.
I think you should always talk into your mic like that. It sounds a lot better.
Oh, okay.
Sounds very ASMR-y.
Do you want to hear a stroke of bad luck?
Yeah.
I literally just got a text that one of our tennis friends just passed like a few days ago.
Oh.
Homie, like, okay, well, I mean, he, not to say he brought it up, like, he was a heavy smoker, but he still played tennis and stuff. Like, shoot.
Are you okay? Do you want
I'm
to take?
alright.
Okay.
Sorry to hear, dude.
No, it's all good. Although condolences to the fams, I'm gonna hit you guys up later. But like, damn. COVID, weird times. I hope it wasn't COVID. I mean, do I? I don't even. I just wish it never happened.
Kyle, do you mind if I ask you, you know, direct things about what you've talked about? You know, just like, I mean, I could save it for a
Sure.
private talk if you don't want it online.
I'll take one. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Has there been a time in your life since moving here where you felt you pushed yourself beyond what you thought you could be able to push yourself, and you were rewarded for it? You achieved something and you knew it was because of how much more you pushed for yourself to achieve it? I'm just curious if you can have an experience like that here in Canada or anything. Like you mentioned before we went to Dominican, you got laid off by a stroke of luck because it was a job you didn't enjoy, and then you pushed your ass to like work out, get fit, and you were gonna get ready for this big change, this big move. And you were doing it. You were bouncing back. You were in the best shape of your life. You were making good, stronger decisions. I guess maybe I'm assuming also you felt good about your relationships with certain people, your family and your friends, probably at an up. I mean, did you? Yeah, a time where you could completely be like, yeah, I achieved that or I reached that because of how hard I pushed myself.
Well, physically, I guess that would be it. You know, that month of just hitting the gym like almost every day. I think I missed like 3 days in that month. And also running goals, like when I came back, I ran a lot. Like I had some month where I did like 13 10Ks and like 8 5Ks.
Nice.
But there was no like accomplishment, like a medal or anything like that. It was just I felt good about what I was doing. I felt really healthy.
Did it feel like an achievement though, like a personal achievement?
I think the DR trip felt like an achievement basically because like I've never like looked like that. Like I never looked half strong before. And you know, to put on like whatever it was, like 10 pounds of muscle was a very good achievement, I guess, for me. I wasn't aiming for that. I was just working out every day and having fun while I was doing it. And it was fun. Like there was no real goal. I just wanted to work hard and see what I could do for the trip. And I liked it. Like I was like, yay, and I couldn't wait to go back and keep going.
Yeah, dude, when you took that one picture, that photo
Coming out of the water.
Yeah, no, not that one. The
under the light
one in your basement under the light, and you're doing like a Goku stance. I was like, holy jeez, Kyle.
That's cheating. That's cheating.
No, but still, man, like that was like when I saw like those photos, I was just like, holy crap. If he can do it.
That's right.
Pull him up, Danny.
If I could do it.
Pull him up, Danny.
Yeah.
Show us them pics.
If the laziest guy
no,
you know
can
can
do
do
it,
it, you definitely can do it.
That's not my pick.
Google that.
No, but for real, like, yeah, like even something like that, like guys, like I think last week I hit my highest weight, and it's not a good weight. I was just like, oh my god,
Highest ever.
So like Lent came at a good time.
Oh yeah, true.
Started going hard this week.
Higher than Winnipeg?
Higher than Winnipeg. Like, granted, I know that like I have more muscle mass than
You have muscle under, yeah.
But going from the beginning of this year down to like my birthday time after I was like 2/3 into P90, where I was like just under 150. I gained a lot again since then, and I was just like, holy crap, no, I really need these 40 days to just get me back, to just go.
Y'all do bake a lot of goodies.
Yeah. Baking and eating. And it's,
a lot of flour and a lot of sugar.
Like Michaela's and you know, there's always dessert, you know, like an hour and a half after dinner, and I'm not used to eating dessert, but I just got so accustomed to it, and like it's so good. You can't say no, but at least now with Lent, I'm like, no, I can't. I have a reason to decline.
Nice.
So yeah, so like I think since last week, like I think I already dropped, I don't know, like 5 pounds. And it was just because like I'm like, okay, I gotta go a little bit more with the cycling, and I gotta go a little bit more with the intermittent, and just be smarter about my eating, and don't eat until like I'm not eating for taste. and just binging for taste. And like I went so bad with like fast foods and stuff like that. But you just find the small reasons to just want to do better. And then I all I do honestly is I think back to like each of your like photos, like, and I'll keep that imprinted. Like, when we used to send the photos, the
Dating.
yeah, it's totally
Dating
but I'm like,
DR.
yeah, the dating
Progress
DR, the
photos, yeah.
Kyle under the light, when FJ posted those photos there, like seeing the transformation from War, like all of us, like I think about that and I'm just like, holy crap, like, okay, I gotta make movements, even if they're small, like even if it's like this run thing, I'll look at it and yeah, we didn't hit our team goal, but I see that like my mileage is just a little bit more every single week. Like I don't want it to be lower. So it's just those small things that I know I can put in the work. It might not be the hardest work right now, but if I can at least put in the start, I can build upon that, and I can do a little bit more. And then it's easy to talk about the fitness one because that's usually the one you see the easiest one to see the results or the changes. It's a lot harder for like all the mental thought processes and the relationships and attitude changes and but I still believe that it's that same idea. Like you still have to put in the work, but you don't have to go like 300% right in the beginning. You just have to start taking the steps. If they're small, appreciate that you're taking the small steps every single day, and it'll eventually make movements. And I think that was another book. I think it was called Slight Edge.
Wait, you can read? You're in math.
I didn't say I could read well. I said
Well,
I
you're
could read.
definitely more well read than I am. You actually read books.
Wait, he's red? I thought he's brown.
Give me the audiobook.
Slight Edge
I-
was a good one. Slight Edge was a good read.
I
It was
just
like-
recently. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
No. Go. Finish yours.
I just want to say Slight Edge was a good read. It was like every decision that you make, you do your best to think a little bit long term. Like if I eat the McDonald's now, sure, it's not going to be terrible if I eat it this one day, but if I think that way, nice. If I think that way for me, and I do that, 2-3 times a week, and then all of a sudden it becomes this habit, like, I'm not surprised why I gained like 20 pounds. Like I look back at my habits and it was that slight edge decisions that I didn't think would make a difference, and it did. And
They add up, bro.
yeah, it's totally my fault, but I know it's something that I can change. So that's all I want to say. Slight edge. Go ahead, FJ.
No, I think it's funny. Not funny. Maybe it was stroke of luck. On YouTube, algorithm, whatever, this Kobe Bryant special came up because it's been a year since it happened. And this basketball YouTube channel made a tribute video. It's been a year since the world stood still from when we got that news about Kobe. And yeah, he did like a whole kind of review of Kobe's career and his life. And you look at a guy like Kobe, gifted, right? Like as a young kid, he was gifted. It's kind of like that same LeBron kind of thing. Jordan was gifted too. You later find out that his hand to arm span and stuff like that. He was like a freak of nature athletic wise. Same with LeBron, freak of nature athlete wise. I don't know if Kobe was. Kobe was just kind of small. But we all knew that they pushed harder outside, off the court, than all the other players. Like I've heard of other players who were very gifted. They make to the NBA and then they get paid well, and then they just stop trying because they feel like, oh, my talents or my skills will keep me here, and I'm good with that. Look at Vince Carter. Apparently he was lazy. Apparently he didn't like to practice, and he didn't really, but his talent and skill alone brought him to a very long career where he actually was part of some championship teams, and he did really well. But that's not a common occurrence. But I look at Kobe, and yeah, strokes of bad luck, or even when Jordan lost his father. But Kobe tore his Achilles, and you could look at that, be like, man, that's unlucky. When you tear your Achilles, you're never the same. You're never gonna come back. You'll never compete. But he did, right? Like, didn't he get like championships after, when he like did his recovery and he pushed even harder? He had to push even harder. He couldn't be like, oh man, I'm done. My career is done. He's like, no, it's not. It's like, I still need to achieve multiple championships on my own without Shaq. And he did. I'm not saying, model our lives after Kobe, but maybe we should model our lives after Kobe. But COVID, it wasn't a personal strike to each of us individually. Coming back from Puerto Plata, things were like looking good, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and now gyms are closed, and you won't be able to hit the physical goals. But I mean, as Warren did say, there are ways. It's just a matter of if you're willing to do them. It's gonna cost more probably if you want to invest in your own home stuff. Obviously, maybe spacing is an issue or things like that. But there's I guess some creative things you could do if you want to push more weight, if you want to push your body in certain ways. It's just not going to be the lucky sense of having a gym. It'll be under some unlucky situations, but there's obviously more hurdles than just access to gym equipment and like weight. There's self-motivation, mental, and all that stuff. But yeah, I didn't do anything for a lot of last year too because of the mental. And I did want to say one thing, but when Kyle's here, like goal setting, goal setting. I don't, man. Like I watched this other video too about like reaching success as a streamer. Thank you, War, for that. Watching that one dude react to the other dude. But no, it was like setting actual quantitative goals and then writing them down. I am notorious for not writing down my goals, but I do come up with goals and I make it a point to record them mentally. I guess I just don't write them down on a piece of paper, but maybe apps do it, like the streak thing. The streak thing is a very easily recorded goal that's on something, so something else is writing it down for me.
It's crazy how much of a mental shift those things add, because it just adds that extra layer of like accountability to yourself. That's why I love this run thing that we do, because honestly, like I wouldn't have been doing as much cardio.
I would have skipped this week if it wasn't for that group.
Yeah, like it's hard enough to try and find motivation when we're all self-isolated for the majority of the time anyway. So the small things like this, they make differences.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's nice about that is that we're also not afraid to more or less fail together. Like obviously we didn't hit the goal this week. I know I didn't hit my goal, my personal goal of the 35 clicks a week. But at the same time, it's not like I'm not being judged by you guys. Like it's nice to do it with friends, because even if we more or less fail, we fail together, and we know to pick each other up for the next week.
Yeah, like
I'm
when
totally
we didn't hit it,
you.
it was like, oh, whatever. Let's keep the same goal and keep going. Like, it took 5 weeks to get under 100%. So we'll just get back on there and we're good.
I wholeheartedly believe in us and achieving 80 this week. I will definitely pick up my weight. I'm partly the cause, and I'm to blame for 80, but I will hit my 40. I swear.
Oh, whatever, man. I'm slowly doing more and more every single week. So.
I noticed. Big ups to you guys. I see the growth.
It's happening.
No, it's good.
Sorry, Kyle, when you left, the last thing I wanted to say was like how I've realized and seen the difference goal setting actually does make. Like, I don't necessarily write my goals down. I was telling the guys, but the streak thing in these apps, whether it be Duolingo, keeping up a daily streak, doing the lessons, is letting me learn another language where I see actual improvement where I can see in the future me being able to speak fluently Spanish because of this goal setting of doing this every day. My 100 workout thing that I just randomly set that day, I've been doing every day, and I didn't know if I necessarily had a goal by day 100, but I feel like I'm gonna make something of day 100 to see the progress or whatever, and I'm not gonna stop. Like, it's nice to see metrics like, 1 month, 30 days, and then 3 months, and then 100 days, and maybe 365 days or 6 months or whatever. Like, it's just an easy thing to hit those quantitative metrics goal wise, and then the rewards come with setting the goal. So something about having a target. I know it must be difficult when you're fighting that like just not really caring about stuff. It's like, what am I gonna gain out of something? If you're already healthy, or you're safe, you feel good, I guess the reward is feeling even better. Like, I don't necessarily think I was physically in a horrible space last year, but I knew where I had been. I knew what I've reached before. We've all reached our peaks, essentially. And it's not to say that we can't break that peak again. I really do think all of us can break our peaks again. We're not that old. But at least we know what we've achieved, and know what we could get again if we wanted. I never thought I would be at my best physical fitness in my 30s. And especially now that I'm almost 40, and I can actually see that I could even surpass whatever peak I've had before. So it's like, yeah, man, like, try it. Try setting some sort of target or goal, and like don't forgive yourself, but like, like push. Yeah, be unforgiving to yourself in a way, like mentally, to reach the goal. Don't beat yourself up, but I mean, like, you know what it takes to reach it because you've done it before. I guess.
Yeah, if this is aimed to me, then I mean, I've been here before. It just sucks, and it takes something for me to kick myself in my ass and start doing things. Like, I went for that run, felt good. I'll probably go again, but I can guarantee you, as the weather gets better, I'm gonna get better. Like, at some point I'm gonna let loose, but it just sucks. I'm just in a rut, that's all. Like, I've been here before. I'll get out. It's just that push. It doesn't happen when someone tells me. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
It happens when it needs to happen in my head. Like, a switch goes off and that's it.
Did you find you set a goal at that time in the past when that switch went off? Like, was it Punta Cana or Dominican?
Like, Punta Cana was there, but like, I was really ready to work out like that for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. Like gym 5 times a week, no problem. Like, I made it part of my life, and I'm like, this is good. This is what I want. I want this for my life. And then the health benefits come with it. So the fasting is easy now. Like, but because I don't exercise or anything, I'm not really that strict on the fasting. Like, I don't eat a lot of garbage. No, I eat garbage, but I don't eat a lot, I should say. Like, I'm probably at a caloric deficit, to be honest. So I'm not getting fat. It's just, I think a lot of people are sort of in my boat, unmotivated, feel like shit, unemployed, and we're just sitting here, right?
I think what helps for me is always trying to instill like a gaming perspective or a team perspective, like in the running case. But like even the small thing like the Duolingo, you know, seeing FJ's like streak, I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Like I always wanted to actually start learning a language, so why not? And like you can choose like how serious you want to be. And I was always casual or whatever, so where it's like one lesson, and that's good enough. But then like I saw that they have like these tier leagues, and if you're in the top 10 for the week, you move up to the next league. And I'm just like, well, I want to move up to the next league. And now I'm like where a daily lesson might have been like 20 XP, and I see these guys are doing like 500, 1,000 XP a day for me to be able to get into the top 10. I'm like, oh my god, I have to learn more. But I'm like, I've been, you know, I'm only at like just under 40 days, but I'm like, I didn't realize how much work I would be putting into this, and I'm enjoying it too. But it's those like, yeah, the streaks and that competitive nature, that, you know, it makes a difference. And I guess seeing that FJ's continuing to do it, obviously that team aspect. The same thing with the running. Like that's why I think if it's a motivational thing, then if it's something that we all want to do, like, yeah, I'm always up for throwing in more challenges and weekly things that we can do. Obviously, we don't have to like broadcast them, but you know what I mean? Like those helped me. Like doing the P90 last year helped because I was doing it with Michaela. You know, if I was feeling lazy, she's like, hey, are we going to do it? I'm just like, yes, fine. But yeah, like if it's that, then yeah, I'm always down for more challenges. So throwing that out there.
I have always almost prided myself on just doing these things by myself. Like, I don't need anybody to say, hey, I'm going to the gym. Want to come to the gym? No, I'm going to the gym because I want to go to the gym. And like, I can't even see it. Like, just, you know, start a streak because you're doing a streak. I'm like, why? That's no. Like that,
Why not?
So you don't need any external motivations. It's all self, right?
yeah. Like,
Yeah. Inspirations can be external,
I mean,
but
it's
motivations.
cool to see, and I don't have the competitive thing either. Like I like Whoop was really cool just to see what war is, HRV is, just to see how much sleep we're getting. And I've since deleted it, by the way. But I found out something super unlucky. As we're talking about luck, if you canceled your subscription early, you get months of credit. So if I canceled this like when COVID started, I'd have had like 12 months of credit. So
like
I canceled it.
prorated?
I have 2 months of credit. I'm like, shit. So unlucky, dog. But I really hated. I mean, you guys don't have to restart your phone every day for the damn thing to catch up. I had to do that for like 9 months or whatever. It was really annoying. So I'm done with it.
That's fair.
But can you
in terms
set
of,
like a daily restart automatically on your phone too, like when you're sleeping? Or I guess you wouldn't want it to do while you're sleeping.
There's some steps I had to do every day just to see how I slept.
Okay.
It was like unpair, and then force stop the app, and then restart the phone, and then get the thing to pick up, like tap the
pair
device
again, yeah,
and then pair it again, and then
it syncs.
And
somehow.
then launch the app,
yeah,
and then you'd be good. But then as soon as you walk out of Bluetooth range, you'd have to do it again. It was garbage.
Well, I mean, you could have talked to Whoop. Like, they're really good
Tech
with
support?
responses. I had that issue, but obviously with an iPhone, it was a little more easier to fix. It just took an update. All I'm saying is, you know, obviously you've got rid of it already. It's just...
No, I tried. They didn't send me a new one. So I was like, fuck off.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask, Just to be that guy to ask.
Who, me?
Well, you said unlucky about if you canceled when COVID started, you would have got more money back. Why is that about anything to do with luck?
That's just misinformation.
Yeah.
No, I did it because the podcast is about luck. Unlucky, haha. But
Okay, I was just wondering if it's...
you know, if I knew, I would have canceled it in March last year.
like you wanted to cancel it back then, and you just...
Like when I stopped working out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why am I? You know, I only used it to check my sleep. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have had like all this credit, and then, you know, if this COVID shit goes away, or when, knock on wood, when, then I could just start back up again and have like a year. I'd have a year of what would feel like free.
Yeah.
Unlucky, bro.
Duly noted. I mean, unlucky versus just misinformed.
Or not informed.
Well, not even informed at all because you didn't ask.
I'm not informed. Like they don't advertise this info.
No one's gonna advertise prorate refunds. No one does.
It's good business, which makes
Like-
them scum. So now I
like,
don't even want to join them.
What you
again.
should know about your internet service, if you guys don't already know, but on outages, you can call them afterward and ask for credits for that time that you've had outage and you didn't have data service or Wi-Fi service, and they would prorate you for that day. But they won't give it to you unless you ask. They're not gonna advertise that. So
Tip.
just so you know.
Duly noted.
I'm pushing my insurance about that. Be like, hey, look, I am driving like 20% of what I used to drive, so my insurance rate shouldn't be this amount if I'm driving so much less now.
They
But
must
again,
be getting questions like that all day.
all the time. But I'm one of them.
Well, if you ever change your mind about not wanting that push and you do want to push from somebody, we're here. We got you.
Yeah.
We'd like to
But
be
I-
here for
I-
you
I
as
saw
much
that
as
too.
possible.
I had a feeling you'd respond that. I mean, I've known you for a while, a little while. It's like, I know you were the lone warrior, right? It's like, it was a,
I'm
and
a
it
lone
worked for
wolf,
you.
dog.
Yeah.
I'm a Ruroni. Ruroni.
I think when I thought about this whole luck versus hard work thing, when I watched that Veritasium video about it, they were looking at like CEOs, you know, top performers, like superstar athletes as well, and again, like, you know, CEOs, celebrities and things like that, where, you know, if they were to achieve some sort of like lifetime achievement award or Pulitzer Prize or Nobel Peace or whatever like that, they would take that and be like, obviously attribute a big chunk of that, if not all of it, to their hard work. But you do some deeper study about like access to education or access to the certain network of people or like the time frame of when certain things happened in that was specifically beneficial to that person, then you see just how much factors luck had come in order for them to reach that pinnacle of their career of being the CEO or whatever like that. And I look at this group, and I guess we don't exactly relate in that regard. And I think humility has something to do with that. Like what I wanted, kind of the message, is to like, it's not to be like it's conceited or completely self-centered and you're only patting your own back for achieving something. But if you do find yourself reaching some ridiculous goal at the top, and, you know, it's not that you've stepped over people to get there, but I think acknowledging how much luck has played into that journey to reach the top introduces a little bit of humility. Like, kind of brings you back down and grounds you, which is a good thing. An example where I know it was luck. You know, some people might argue opposite, just for the sake of, you know, being encouraging, but I have this, I was selling a lens on Facebook, and I had to ship it somewhere. So I had to go to UPS and get a quote and ship it. And it just so happened that this person behind the UPS desk was part of a networking group, and that networking group didn't have a photographer. And because it was a lens that I was shipping, it just came up that, oh, what is this? Like, oh, you're selling this? Oh, yeah, I'm a photographer, but just looking to upgrade. And like, oh, you're a photographer? Well, I'm actually part of this networking group, and we're looking for a photographer. If you want to come out, the I don't know, guest orientation meeting is actually next week. It's here in Pickering. Do you want to go? So that completely random thing, to me, feels like luck. That I came across this particular person, and she invited me that day, and I went at that time. And yeah, that networking group has opened up like a big chunk of my income now, like corporate work, like. And I'm thinking, okay, I can give myself some credit. It's a networking group. I never thought I would join a networking group, so it took some sort of like self-fortitude for me to be like, all right, just go up. Don't say no to opportunities. That's one thing for sure. I think I've tried to stay strong too. If an opportunity comes, I won't say no. Like I have to take on every opportunity because I know being self-employed, they're not frequent. they're not as often as I would like. So I have to try and take advantage of every opportunity. So that's one example where I could clearly see I was lucky to go to that UPS store, and I was lucky to be able to sell that lens at that time, to be able to have to ship something to go to that UPS store. You know, like it was completely unrelated. You guys have any examples?
That's the right place at the right time. I mean, how often do you hear that in success stories, right? So that's what you're talking about, right? Like, be at the right place at the right time.
Any examples from you guys?
That's not like a rule, but
that kind of example would resonate with me when it comes to like me getting a job and stuff like that.
Flipping a coin to get into UW.
That's another one, yeah.
Choosing to join UW Hip Hop on a whim.
Me going into rock climbing. That's how I met Michaela.
Yeah.
Because Mike was like, "Hey, there's a $30 for the month. It's like $1 a day. You should get it." I was like, I guess so.
Wait, Mike can just come up to be like, "Hey, there's a girl named Michaela. Want to meet her?"
If only it worked out that way. Nah, like it started with Mike and Sharon. They're like, "Yeah, you should get this deal." I got into UTB, and they stopped. I kept going, and then I went into UTB, and then I went into Hub, and then I met like all these other people, and then
Stole all of Mike's friends.
yeah, whatever. I gave Mike climbing friends.
Dave
and
says,
then just there was an event at the Hub in Mississauga. It was like nighttime climbing, so there's a DJ and there's music and you wear headlamps and it's all dark and there's lasers, and I was like, whatever, I'll go. And one of the guys that I met, through climbing the last couple of months, he brought Michaela. Yeah.
And the rest was history.
And the rest is
The rest was his story. Or should I say their story?
their story.
Dede says, me getting a job here was pretty much luck. And there's more. I visited here for a business trip while I was working in Samsung Canada and asked the manager here to remember me if there was a spot open as a joke. 2 years later, I got a call for an interview.
Nice.
But that's the work.
That's not luck. You planted the seed, dude.
Yeah.
and you did a good job.
That's the work. Yeah. Mike's like, that's the work, dude. You lasted. Apparently, you made an impression.
It could be, I guess, half. I mean, you chose to say that to him too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not luck.
You went to that business trip. You could have just not.
He's like, no, I
Debunked.
Had to.
You're wrong.
No, but yeah, it's always cool to trace back. You know, maybe that one conversation, that one decision, that just changed everything. Like me becoming a Frosh leader. I just did that out of a whim, and that's where I met Martin. And Martin told me to join hip hop. And then yeah, that's where we are. So
All right, I will have one good luck story from COVID. And it's an obvious one, but if you guys forgot, it saved me from a pretty bad relationship situation.
Oh, really? I forget.
If it weren't for COVID, oh man, where would I be right now?
so there are positives and negatives to everything.
Yeah.
Not to say that if
It
I
took
had
a
chosen, I
pandemic.
definitely wouldn't have wanted COVID to be here, but
I'm sorry, world.
you can always find the small positives that it has affected.
The virus
Like,
came for
hopefully,
me.
you hear some super sad stories for sure, but I think that's the tough part about any low is you look hard enough and try and find a positive, and you can probably find one, as minuscule as it might be in the grand scheme of things. That one small positive could make a bigger difference later on.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the question, I think we've all hit it at some point, is like, why is this shit happening to me? The lows, rock bottoms. It's like, yeah. And again, that's taking ownership of something that's completely random. Yes, there are certain decisions that we make that are mistakes that hurt other people, that might lead to consequences. Not choosing the right decision to better yourself at a time makes you ill-equipped to be prepared for a situation maybe that is a very challenging thing in a relationship. And yeah, I'm speaking out of personal experience where had I taken the steps that I'd taken earlier in my life, I could be in a very different situation right now. I could be married by now with kids, but I wasn't prepared, and I lost some wonderful people. And it took loss for me to push me to seek change. So that's
Amen.
one thing where I can take bad luck and turned it, hindsight obviously, but at the time it sucked. It sucked really bad. But looking back after the steps I took to kind of bounce back from that is, yeah, I wouldn't have if I didn't go through that shit. But, on the other hand, if I was perfect to begin with, then I wouldn't have had to do all that growth.
Well, there's no one's perfect, right?
I still think you're great. I don't care what Warren says about you, Hector.
Oh my god.
Bullshit.
No, but
I gotta
for
say,
real,
the
I
competitive
just
thing
wanna
in this
say,
group.
Take this to say I'm so happy and I'm lucky to have you guys. So just throwing that out there.
Right back.
Bring
at
it back to the happiness.
I'm very lucky to have you guys. Not having any brothers, not having anyone else in my family interested in dance or gaming, or just doing things outside of the house. Just socializing, having actual friend circles outside of, immediate work-related groups or whatever. Yeah, lucky. StarCraft, lucky.
I'm gonna say I'm probably. You mentioned having brothers, 2 someone interested in gaming, and 3 someone interested in dance. Have you guys seen Tyler's dance videos?
What?
No.
Should we expose him on YouTube?
Does he have a TikTok?
Is
Is he doing
I'm
doing
kidding.
TikTok
I'm not gonna
dances?
expose him on YouTube. No. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna expose him here.
Well, rub it in, why don't you? That you have one.
How lucky. Oh snap!
So blessed,
Okay.
so blessed, so blessed.
I mean, he's in the chat.
Exposed, bro.
Oh yeah, I do remember these. I have seen these. Yay.
Freaking classic. Anyways,
I do.
Actually, a cool thing that I see from fighters and coaches in the UFC is when you say like you had to lose to be able to learn to change. A lot of coaches and fighters will often say, you don't lose, you learn.
you learn.
So
Hell
you
yeah.
win or you learn.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tell my kids that all the time.
Coach Warren is already
Yeah,
well
I have to tell them that.
in this adage.
Well,
But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's true, right? And if you don't learn, then
then you
That's
lose.
losing.
Then you actually lose.
Then you will just then you lose. Yeah.
You'll continue to lose if you don't learn.
You don't lose.
Yeah.
Unless you don't learn, then
You continue to lose
And you
unless you learn.
You win or you learn.
And I think about that in my relation, like, you know, in my significant relationships, like
No,
losing your significant others. Like I kept losing them because of I didn't learn. So,
yeah. I had to reflect and sort of see that there are parallels in my past, right? Like there are definitely parallels there. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to change something, right? Like, well, that's just gonna happen again. So very, very interesting. I mean,
If there are three things I have to remind my juniors all the time, one, you don't lose, you learn. If you like you guys just said, if you don't learn, you're gonna continue to lose. That one they're well aware of. The other two, the second one was practice makes permanent. So if you continue to, somebody gets pissed off on the court, if they're gonna be pissed the whole time, then they're never gonna come out of that, that mode. If they're playing with anger in their mind or practicing with anger in their mind, that's practicing to make permanent. They're always going to play angry, or they're always going to play in a certain state of mind. And then the third one I always have to remind them is to relax when they play. If they can play in a natural state, whether it's like a natural relaxed state, I guess the key word would be relaxed. If you're relaxed, then your body will do the things you want it to do. If you're tense, you're screwed. You're not going to perform to your best. So the three things I have to tell them all the time is, one, you're not going to lose, you will learn. Two, freaking practice makes permanent, so make sure you're practicing how you want to play. If you're going to be sulky on the court, just get off. And then three, relax. Because the more you put pressure on yourself, the more likely you're going to fail, the more likely you're going to not perform to what you think is your best. So that all translates into, your typical real life situations where if you're faced with the challenge, if you come to it with a clear mind and you're relaxed, you stand a better chance of succeeding. Practicing making permanent. If you continue to do a bad job, if you continue to be careless, if you continue to not care, then you will continue to not care. Because that's what I'm realizing when I'm working. Like that's what I realize when I'm at my job. And then the other part is, not learning. Yeah, I've had a lot of mistakes in the past, especially at work, especially on the court. I don't learn my lesson. You get to an age where it's kind of like you're already set in your ways, but it takes a ton of discipline to break out of those like bad habits. I'm lucky with these kids, like they're young enough that they can break up bad habits and I can force them to.
mm-hmm.
I don't tell them I force them to, but they are being forced to break out of bad habits.
I feel you on the too old to break your own.
I don't think I'm too old. It's just there's a point where it just becomes a lot more difficult. It's still doable.
Right, yeah. So I experienced that.
Ages in
I look back at little things. I'm like, man. I told myself, like how I interact with my dad a lot of times. Like he can get on my nerves a little bit because like he thinks he knows everything. So like he'll say something like it's the truth, and I'm like, how do you know that? And he'll just say, yeah, I know, right? And then I'll Google it, and then I'll just be all up in his face, and then just showing him that he's wrong. But I'll do it in a very rude way. And I told myself, like, Like he approached me one time or two times even. You know, he thought that like I hated him or something. And because to him it felt like every interaction was like that. And I had to remind him like, stop just remembering the times when I'm mad at you. Like, what about all the times that we laughed together? Right? I have to reinforce like, no man, I love you a lot, like a lot. And then after that I'm like, okay, I can't approach these like he's old, like he is not gonna change, you know. Over 70, there's no way he's gonna change now. So I have to change the way I deal with his hard-headedness. No, I'm not gonna just let him get away with thinking he knows something that's wrong, but at the same time I really have to watch my approach and don't make him feel like I bloody hate him, because it was like bad, you know. Like I would be irritable and I would just snap, you know. I'd be like, why do you always do this, you know, all up in his face. Like I know I'm like, in my head I'm like, this is why you don't live with your parents at this age. It's like, this is not good. But still, like, it's still a lesson. Like I'm still learning in this spot. Like there's some, yeah, there's still a lot to learn. And so when I'm like, I do it again, let's say this is up until like a couple days ago or something, sit back and be like, fuck, just chill. What the hell? Why are you so, you know, stop being so irritable, stop being so snappy. Like,
That's a bad habit to break too. Like
in
a
terms
hard
of
habit to
snappy,
break. Yeah.
yeah, like how I got snappy with FJ about the anime. Like I felt bad about that. And I'm like, fuck, I'm just so irritable. The whole situation does not help me.
That's nice to hear, Kyle. I mean, not to beat you down for that specific incident, but I remember feeling what I felt when that happened. And I remember how I reacted, which isn't
Yeah.
characteristic of how I normally react.
Well, I knew that was how I knew that I went somewhere. And I was like, oh, okay. And at the time, I was annoyed.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like, I was
I
like,
heard it.
I was like, fuck this guy, man. Just let him rant. I don't give a shit. And then later on, I was like, I'm an asshole. Like I was like, I'm so snappy. I'm so irritable. And that was probably why I went running, to be honest. Like I ran just after that, I think, like a day or two after that. I was like, I need to either punch a hole in a tree or something, or run. Like jump kick a wall or run. Like just get out and physically do something. So
Oh damn.
like that's what I miss with the gym too, because it was such a nice outlet. And it wasn't just pushing weights, it was moving around, like fight practice, you know.
Yeah.
So fun.
And it was a routine. It was daily. It's nice. Daily
I think
release.
those are the small things that are nice. It's just having that awareness. It already makes a big difference, even though it might come up again. But I mean, just the fact that you're thinking about it, it already starts to make movements. Like I'm sure we can all relate with parents, and you know, even with me, like
Totally.
sometimes with them, and I just,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes I just, you know, I can be very rude, but you know, and then I think back, I'm like, okay, no, I should change things. But it's just having that awareness. You know, maybe
Being
you can't
able
change
to
it right away, but
yeah.
because you have that awareness, change is already gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Take the small wins. I haven't seen my family in a year. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you.
It's his birthday
Lucky. Warrior, so lucky.
Thanks.
soon.
Happy birthday, Theo. Well, first, Kyle, you're welcome. I'm kidding. Remember that example you gave me? I think it was after last week's BrackCast, where you're like, I yelled back at you saying, you don't respect me.
Well, you didn't yell.
or whatever it was that particular
yeah,
day
right.
where I snapped back and said something. And I said it in a way that stuck, apparently. It might have been something because of this, like that kind of a response.
Yeah, I mean,
And to know that you were able to observe yourself after the fact, at least this time, I mean, that's huge compared to back then, where you were like, why would he say that? Maybe?
well, I didn't say that. I just thought it. I was like, this is what you think? Okay. But it was at a party, so I'm not gonna like confront you.
Oh, yeah.
You just said that you don't think I respect you. So I was like, word? Alright.
Yeah. I could see maybe where that's... I mean, again, that was back then too, where I didn't have a lot of self-reflection back then. Or at least I didn't take steps yet. I was still learning back then too.
Oh,
But
good. That was a very
yeah.
long time ago.
All right. On that note, any final words? Thoughts?
Lucky to have
Encouragements?
y'all. That's all.
Work hard and roll with the punches when bad luck hits you. Because, I mean, it's going to happen, right?
Yeah, it's bound to. Everyone's gonna encounter bad times, but you still try to make the best of it. There's silver lining everywhere. There's small pieces of positivity to be found. You just have to find it.
What I'd like to say is, you know, I think they both luck and hard work are ideas that are there that you could take both in a positive way. It's easy to maybe discredit something one over the other, you know, like I'm just gonna say that if you find yourself taking full ownership of a success because of only the choices you've made and decisions you've made, you know, taking that step back and seeing the opportunities that were granted to you to get there is just a way to keep you humble and keep you grounded. It may end up helping you continue to succeed, to look at luck in a positive way and not something that takes away from the hard work you put into a level of achievement. And on the opposite side, if you come some stroke of along some bad luck, again, it's not something that you can actually take ownership of, where you have bad luck and the bad things will always happen to you. You know, just remember to take a step back. It's a random event, and you know, somewhere down the line, it's the choices you can make to bounce back from those events, from those bad experiences. So
You can control what you can control.
it's a perception thing. It's completely subjective, and you could definitely turn any kind of event in your life, turn it into a positive and bounce. You know, continue to grow that way. So hopefully that helps some people. All right, same time next week. Thursday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching, joining us. We'll see you guys.
Same
next
Brack
time.
place.
Hit that notification bell so you'll know when
Punch
we're
it.
live.
Punch that notification
Thanks
bell.
for watching.
Like it, subscribe, comment.
Like and subscribe. Comment down below if you had a specific lucky event in your life that made changes, or something that you feel that you've achieved strictly because of hard work. Mamba mentality. And we're out. Peace. Thanks for watching, y'all.